Hello, this is Math 043 slope-intercept form. The line with slope m and a y-intercept of 0b is given by y is equal to mx plus b. This is the slope-intercept form of the line because m is the slope and 0b is the y-intercept. For example, y equals 2/3 x minus 4. The slope is 2/3, which means you're rising 2, run 3, and the y-intercept is at 0, -4. Example 2, we have y is equal to -2x plus 1. The slope is -2, and the y-intercept is 0, 1. So if you have the slope and the y-intercept, you can write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Use the slope and the y-intercept to graph each equation. So example 3, the y-intercept is at 0, -1. Always write your y-intercepts as ordered pairs. So go to 0, -1 and put a dot. The slope is 3. It might help you if you put 3 over 1. Rise 3, run 1. You can also go down 3 and left 1 because a negative divided by a negative is also a positive. So we can go down 3 and left 1. And then all of our dots line up in a straight line, and then we graph the line. It's best to always fill your graph with dots. Example 4. The y-intercept is at 0, -4. Go over 0, down 4, and put a dot. The slope is 2/3. Rise 2, run 3. And we could also go down 2, left 3. Example 5. If it helps, you might want to put plus 0. So the y-intercept is 0, 0. The slope is -1/2. I suggest you attach the negative to either the 1 or the 2. If you attach it to the 1, you would go down 1, right 2. If you attach it to the 2, you would rise 1 and go left 2. So we'll start at 0, 0. And we'll go down 1, right 2. And we can also go up 1, left 2. And again, we're just kind of filling our graph with dots. And then connect the dots. Example 6, you see y equals -4. Hopefully you're thinking, hoy, horizontal line has a slope of 0. And the equation of the line is y equals. So we'll go to y equals -4 and draw a horizontal line. Example 7 and 8. Rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form and then graph. This requires 2 steps. Step 1 is to move the x to the other side. And the next step is to divide everything by the coefficient of y. So in this case, divide everything by -2. So when you simplify, y is equal to 2x minus 4. Our y-intercept is 0, -4. The slope is 2. I suggest we go 2 over 1, and we'll rise 2 and run 1. So go to 0, -4, and put a dot, and then up to right 1. And likewise, we can go negative, negative, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. We can go down to left 1. Example 8. Again, it's a line in standard form, which means x and y are on the same side. We need to solve for y. So the first thing we'll do is subtract 5x from both sides. And then we'll divide everything by what's in front of y. And simplify. Y is equal to -5/3 x plus 2. Our y-intercept is 0, 2. And the slope is -5/3. I attach the negative to the 5, which means I would go down 5 and right 3. But I could also attach the negative to the 3 and rise 5 and go left 3. But it all starts by going to the y-intercept at 0, 2. So I went down 5, right 3. And I can also go up 5, left 3. And connect the dots. The next part, we'll be writing linear equations. In order to write a line in slope-intercept form, we need the y-intercept and the slope. So for example, 9, let's first locate the y-intercept, which is at 0, 4. And then next we need to count the slope, or we can calculate it using the slope formula with the 2 points. But we're rising 4. And going left 6. So the rise is 4. The run is -6. We need to simplify this fraction, which would simplify into -2/3. So we have everything we need to write the equation of the line. We have the slope of -2/3, so that's -2/3 x plus the y-intercept, which is 4. Example 10. We need the y-intercept, which is 0, -3. So b is equal to -3. And now we need to find the slope. So we would rise 1, 2, 3, 4. And we would go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our rise is 4 and the run is 5. Everything is in the positive direction. So the slope of the equation of the line would be y is equal to 4/5 x minus 3. Example number 11. Hopefully we're thinking horizontal line has a slope of 0. And the equation of the line is y equals whatever it goes through on the y-axis. And in this case, would be -2. Example 12. Sketch a line with the given slope m and the y-intercept of 0, 3. So we go to 0, 3 and put a dot. The slope is -2. Again, I think we should put that over 1. And we will go down to right 1. We can also attach the negative to the 1, which means we could rise 2 and go left 1. And connect the dots. And we have graphed the line. This next part, we're going to work with parallel and perpendicular lines. In a previous lesson, we had parallel and perpendicular lines that were either vertical or horizontal. And what is different now is that the lines will not be vertical or horizontal. First thing we need to know is that parallel lines have the same slope. Think of train tracks. They're parallel lines and they never touch. They have the same slope. They have the same slant. Perpendicular lines have slopes that give a product of -1. I prefer to say that the slopes are negative reciprocals. Again, we have some information on how to calculate slope. To find a y-intercept, we always set x equal to 0. And to write the equation of the line, we were always going to write our lines in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Example 13. Write an equation of a line that is parallel to y equals 3x minus 7 and passes through the point 1, 5. So what we have is a line, y equals 3x minus 7, but the only thing we need from this line is the slope. Since the slope of the line that we want to find through the point 1, 5 will have the same slope, we will use 3 in our calculation. We want this new line to have a slope of 3 and passes through the point 1, 5. And in this lesson, we're just going to use slope-intercept form. And later, we will go over how to use point-slope form. But I suggest we write y equals mx plus b. We have m, and we have x, and we have y. So we'll use substitution and solve for b. 5 is equal to 3 times 1 plus b. What we need to write the equation of a line is the slope and the y-intercept. We have both of those. So we'll write y is equal to 3x plus 2. So y equals 3x plus 2 is the equation of the line that goes through the point 1, 5 and is parallel to y equals 3x minus 7. Example 14. Write an equation of a line that passes through the 2 points. Well, we need a slope. Now that we've calculated the slope, we need the y-intercept. Be sure to pay attention to the 2 points that you have, because 0, 3 is the y-intercept. So if 0, 3 is the y-intercept, we know b is equal to 3. So we can write the equation of the line. Y is equal to negative 7 over 2x plus 3. Again, just remember you need a slope and a y-intercept to write the equation of the line. Example 15. Write an equation of a line that is perpendicular to y equals 2x minus 1 and passes through the point 6, 2. The only thing we need from this line is a slope. Well, it tells us the slope is 2. But this time, we want the lines to be perpendicular. And at the top of the notes, we know that the product of the two slopes would be negative 1, but I choose to use the word opposite or negative reciprocal. So m is equal to 2 is the line that we have, but we want perpendicular. So the slope of the line that we're going to use in our calculation is going to be the opposite flipped. So I denote it as m with a perpendicular sign at the bottom. And I'm going to take the opposite of this, of 2, and then I'm going to flip it. So the slope I'm going to work with is negative 1/2. The point is 6, 2. Again, I have y, m, and x, and I will solve for b. So I've solved for b. So I'll write the equation of the line. Y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 5. I would suggest you stop here, pause the video, and work on practice page 12. And when you've finished it, come back and check your answers. Number 4, write an equation of a line that has a slope of 2 and passes through the point. Well, you might notice that this is your y-intercept. You have a slope of 2, you have a y-intercept of 0, -6, so you have everything you need to write the equation of the line. Number 5, write the equation of a line that passes through the 2 points. If you're given 2 points and you need the equation of a line, you need to find the slope. Now that you have the slope, you know that 0, 1 is the y-intercept. You have the slope and the y-intercept, so you can write the equation of the line. Number 6, write the equation of the line that is parallel to y equals 5x minus 2, passes through the point -2, 3. The only thing you need from this equation of the line is the slope. It's already in slope-intercept form, so the slope is 5. If you want a parallel line, you will use the same slope in the equation. You want it to have a slope of 5, and you want to go through the point -2, 3. Again, you have y, which is 3, m, 5, and x is -2. Substitute those values in and solve for b. Now that you have the y-intercept, you can write the equation of the line because you have the slope and the y-intercept. And number 7, write the equation of the line that is perpendicular to y equals -3x plus 2. Perpendicular, and all we need from this line is the slope. The slope of the line that is given is -3, but we want perpendicular. So the slope of the line that we will use for our calculation, the slope that will be perpendicular, is the opposite and flipped. So the opposite of a negative is a positive, and when you flip 3 over 1, you get 1 over 3. Now you have a slope and you have an ordered pair. Substitute those values into y equals mx plus b and solve for b. Once you have your y-intercept, you have your slope and the y-intercept, so you can write the equation of the line. Y is equal to 1/3 x plus 4. All right, as mentioned at the beginning of this, the next lesson will be on point slope form.